Welcome back, and it's time to welcome back to Morning Live Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob.
Good to see you. The morning after a very close vote last night, but there will be 3 more Pride crosswalks in Burlington.
4-3 vote. Yeah, it was my motion, and I really want to thank Councillors Bentavania, Nissan, and Galbraith for their support for installing 3 more crosswalks. That will bring 4, the number to total of 4. We're also looking at rainbow benches, banner program. That was all on a motion that I put on the floor of committee, and it came to council yesterday. So I'm glad we got it done. The support from the community has been overwhelming. We had over 4,000 people respond to a survey suggesting locations. So we listened to the call from the community to just get it done.
Yeah, and a show of solidarity at Spencer Smith Park as well with many flags.
Absolutely. So that was an art installation by a local resident. Thank you, Cindy. And it was in response to the decision by the Halton Catholic District School Board not to fly the flag. And I've got my Fly the Flag t-shirt on this morning. It was a fundraiser. And she put an installation in to raise awareness that 664 people within the Halton Catholic School Board, students, teachers, do identify as 2S LGBTQIA+, and had 1,664 little flags at Spencer Smith Park on the weekend. All of those were taken home by people. People were posing and putting their support for inclusion on social media. So it was really great to see.
Yeah. Now, so moving forward, so this vote last night, so 3 more Pride crosswalks this year, and then more to be considered next year?
We're looking at 3 more in our budget, and the logic behind the 6 is that we have 6 wards in the city, and we want to make sure that it's distributed throughout the city, so it's not just 1 or 2 locations, that every resident of every ward in our community can see visible support on the street, literally, for inclusivity, diversity, and that we support and welcome everyone to our community.
Yes. Ontario's big mayors, you're one of them. Putting it.
Well, I'm not that big, but yeah.
Important mayor.
Important. Big city mayors. Yes, it's population's over 100,000.
Yes.
But yes.
So you're part of this club, and of course the group calling for decriminalization of controlled substances, and actually put out a paper on this after a long study.
We did. Yes, so myself and Mayor Darren Caniff were the co-chairs of a subcommittee of the Ontario Big City Mayors to specifically look at mental health, addictions, and housing, which are often so closely related. And we did put out our policy paper. It was approved unanimously by the 29 mayors who represent 75% of the population of Ontario. And we are calling, among other things, for decriminalization of controlled substances, for increased mental health supports in response to emergency 911 or police calls, and a range of other things, including some action items for municipalities, which I will be undertaking. So it was the first time actually that the mayors have put forward a detailed policy paper. We had a lot of support and a lot of stakeholder involvement, and so it's a great achievement.
Yeah, the pandemic has certainly amplified this, hasn't it? What's the opioid crisis in Halton like right now?
We are, it's growing. There's no question in Halton where we aren't as hard hit as some areas in Ontario. I hear just devastating stories from my fellow mayors, but there's no question that mental health concerns and calls, suicides, addiction has all gone up during the pandemic because of the isolation, because of people losing their jobs. And so, this was an issue that was on our radar before the pandemic, but it has just been hugely exacerbated by the conditions that we've all lived through the last 18 months.
Yeah. Let's get to some other city business. So Plains Road, Aldershot, so there's some cycling infrastructure going in. Can you give us details on this? There's actually a public information session tonight, isn't there?
There is, yeah, and it's actually, we have to repave the road, and so as part of that, the road is actually very wide, so we can keep the same number of traffic lanes, but we're adding cycle tracks, bike lanes, dedicated bus drop-off systems. We're actually narrowing some of the intersections so the crossings are easier for people. It doesn't take 30 or 40 seconds to get across, 5-6 lanes of traffic. So there's a number of improvements to the road that we're doing as part of the reconstruction.
Okay, so again, now we can go to the city website. That's at 6:30 tonight.
It is.
Yeah.
Burlington.ca, it's online and everyone can join.
Okay, great. Geez, we just have seconds left, but I want to talk about high-speed internet. The federal government has dropped, was it over $1 million, what is it, 1.3 million towards high-speed internet. That's a big deal for rural Burlington.
It is awesome news. Over 300 residents in North Burlington will have access to high speed. And we know this is important. It is a critical piece of infrastructure, just as important as light and heat and water. And so it allows those folks to work, study, get together with friends online, especially during the pandemic.
So what's the city involvement? What's the city involvement and timeline on this?
We just get to cheer.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been advocating, so I have to credit my fellow councillors, Nissan and Bentivania, for their and Galbraith.
Yeah.
Huge advocates to bring.
But you expect this to move fast.
July, and this is advancing the date by a number of years. It became a front burner issue during the pandemic.
Okay, well, thanks for the update. We appreciate it weekly, and we'll do it again next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob.